everyone. I'm Dr. Carla Gray, your Self-Love for Greatness Transformation Coach, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited to have you here, and if this is your first time being here, please subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so when I upload new content, you'll be first to be informed. Yay! We have been going through the 14-day self-love challenge. And we are on day 5. And for those of you who have been following along and participating, I congratulate you for reaching day 5. I know it's a lot of work to participate, but ultimately the rewards will be unlimited. So if this is your first time joining me, please go back and watch the first 4 videos so it will bring you up to speed and you will be able to complete the self-love challenge successfully. The purpose of this challenge is to help us gain some tools, some strategies, best practices so that we can give ourselves more love in 2024 and the years to come. I like to just take us right into day 5's challenge. Yesterday, I just wanted to talk about the day 4 concept. We talked about self-worth, and self-worth is a feeling that we have that we know that we are good people or a good person. And we also know that we deserve to be treated with respect. And in regards to that, there are some factors and qualities that go right along with self-worth that when we build those qualities, we have self-worth. And we're going to tap into 2 of those today. And they are compassion and self-compassion. Have you ever seen someone suffering? They might have been homeless, they might have been ill, they might have suffered a loss of job. How did you feel when you saw them? Were you moved to help them? Was something inside of you a feeling of warmth and care? Did it drive you to reach out and help them? Well, that's what compassion is. It is suffering with. The definition of compassion is to suffer with. And when we suffer with someone, we truly can sympathize with how they feel, and then we are moved to respond in a way that is non-judgmental or critical, but we are giving them acts of kindness and care to meet their needs. So if you have experienced that, you do have compassion. Let's talk about self-compassion. So think about the feelings that you had when you were helping someone else or had that feeling to move to help someone. How do you respond when you are experiencing a disappointment, a failure, or a loss, or hurt? Do you respond to yourself the same way that you would respond to someone else suffering? Well, that's what we want to work on today in our challenge. If you respond to someone the same way that you would respond to a friend, then you do have self-compassion. But if you are needing to grow in this area, I want to share with you 3 strategies that I love to use, and then I'll give you references where you can learn some more. In her book, Dr. Kristin Neff, she shares many strategies for building self-compassion. And I'd like to start off with one, and we really just kind of described it, and it's called How to Treat Yourself Like a Friend. Basically, there are 3 steps. You think about first helping a friend who is hurt. Someone might call you and tell you a problem. How do you respond and how do you help them? Then I want you to look at when you're hurting, how do you respond to yourself? Do you respond to yourself the same way? Now, take the things that you identified as how you respond to the friend as opposed to yourself, and you then use that to support yourself. And that is treating yourself how you would like to be treated as a friend, or how you treat a friend, because you are your friend and you need to make sure that you truly understand that. And then the second exercise that can be implemented when you're having a disappointment, failure, loss, hurt, it's called a self-compassion break. Sometimes you're just stressed out, something is happening that is not going the way you would like it to go. You need to take a break. But during this break, we want to focus on three things. We want to have a conversation with ourselves. The first aspect of the conversation should acknowledge that this is a moment of suffering. I'm suffering. This hurts. This is a conversation. Ouch. You could say, ouch, it hurts. And then you can acknowledge what the hurt is. It might be stress. I am stressed. And it's all right to suffer because we're human and we all suffer. The second thing we want to do is to acknowledge that suffering is a part of life. Now, this is where we validate that we are human and that we're going to have suffering. And some of the things that we can just say to ourselves is that other people feel the same way, because we're all human. We all suffer. This is common. And ultimately, we struggle in our lives. So we just want to acknowledge that we all struggle, and that is common. And the third aspect of this particular exercise, the self-compassion break, we ask ourselves, may I be kind to you? Or maybe I be kind to myself. May I be kind to myself? And we can say, may I give myself the compassion that I need? May I be strong? May I be patient with me? May I forgive myself? And this is just a conversation that we can have with ourselves during this break. Acknowledge that you're hurt, and then know that it's coming, and then ask yourself, can you give yourself the permission to comfort yourself? And it truly works. I want you to think about a time, especially when you were a child. Especially, I remember times when I fell, and scraped my knee, and hurt my hand, fell off my bike, almost broke up my whole body. Well, I was hurting. And typically when you are hurting as a child, you go to an adult and you tell them, oh, I'm hurting, I'm crying. And what do? They soothe you. Generally, they tell you or ask you the question, where does it hurt? Then they'll tell you it's going to be okay. They probably would give you a hug. And that's what leads us to our next exercise. We can comfort ourselves. Did you know that you can give yourself a hug and comfort yourself and tell yourself that everything is going to be okay? Just like you were told when you were a child, you can do that because our brain does not know when someone else is hugging us or that we are hugging us. And it releases these feel-good chemicals, dopamine in our bodies, and it starts to comfort us. So we can do that to ourselves. We can give ourselves a supportive touch. And the one that I like to do is to hug myself. You can even put your hand over your heart to connect. But ultimately, we're releasing those feel-good hormones in our bodies, and we're comforting ourselves. You might be like me in your business or in your job. Sometimes things don't go as planned. And many times I will go and I will just even take a self-compassion break. And inside of it, I will add that hug because I need to tell myself it's okay and I feel better. And so with that, when we have self-compassion for ourselves, it fills us up with enough compassion that when others are hurting, we can sympathize with them and we can share compassion with them properly without judgment or criticism because we have learned to give ourselves compassion as well. So that is the exercises for day 5's challenge. Remember, we're going to be giving ourselves the self-compassion in order to give compassion to others. So we treat ourselves like a friend, we can take a self-compassion break, and we can give ourselves comforting touches that will help us to be kind to ourselves, and we do deserve.